Mass incarceration has become an accepted part of life for poor people and Black people in America. It is so entrenched in our nation's identity that we take it for granted and accept it as the norm. Its roots are buried deep in our troubled history. When slavery was abolished in America in 1865, the United States Congress created the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, which essentially redefined the parameters of slavery. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as a punishment for a crime, whereof the party shall have been duly convicted shall exist in the United States. This clause has allowed Americans to continue to enslave Black people and poor people for over 150 years. Today, America has the highest incarceration rate in the world. Our jails and our prisons are mostly filled with poor people and people of color. The bureaucracy of mass incarceration has grown into a monster of many heads. Locking up large numbers of people began as a way to control Black activists during the civil rights movement of the 1960s. In the 1980s, Black behaviors were criminalized as the war on drugs focused on crack. By the 1990s, with widespread racist fear of super predators, there were so many people incarcerated that prisons became an industry. Now, that industry has become so lucrative, so far-reaching, that the moral issue is complicated by the financial issue. When someone is convicted and moves from jail to federal or state prison, the government now has legal access to them as a workforce. These prisoners work for almost nothing, making road signs or mattresses or just about anything the government decides. The Eastern Correctional Facility is one of the oldest prisons in New York. Here, many of the prisoners are enrolled in a prison labor program where the inmates work for far below minimum wage. Some people see these programs as a good thing, training inmates for skills they can use when they're released, while others see it as modern-day slavery. So, what are they doing?
They're doing, primarily what prisoners do is they run the prisons. So anything that has to get done in a prison, unless it's security related, usually prisoners are doing it. So they're doing plumbing, they're doing maintenance, they're doing custodial and janitor services, cleaning, they're cooking food, they're serving food. Literally anything you can think of that is needed to run a prison, prisoners do.
So the prison saves a fortune by making the prisoners run the prison.
Millions, tens of millions, yeah.
They save tens of millions.
There was a GAO report in 1993 that said it would cost prisons hundreds of millions of dollars more each year to pay prisoners minimum wage for the work that they did. So prisons are saving hundreds of millions of dollars by employing prisoners. And when we crunched the numbers, we found that the median wage in state prisons was 20 cents an hour. And the median wage in federal prison was 31 cents an hour. And in a number of states, they don't pay anything at all.
What?
Yeah, oh yeah. In Texas, Georgia, Arkansas, and Alabama, prisoners are not paid for their work at all. And in some places, they're required to work under threat of disciplinary action. If they say, no, I'm not gonna work, they can write you up for that, they can send you to solitary for that.
Well, that's slavery. The prison industrial complex could not exist without inmates. The entire prison industry would collapse without large numbers of people to incarcerate. To keep this $265 billion a year industry in place, there needs to be a pipeline to provide a steady stream of new people. People who are dispensable. In the history of forced labor in America, those without power have often looked different from those in power. Arresting those people who don't have power is the very first step in filling jails and prisons. When the police officer puts the handcuffs on a young black man, chances are he has entered the door of no return.